What tools can you use for an SEO audit? This is a question I get asked literally every week, and I don't blame the reason why people ask me is because literally if you search online for tools to use for an SEO audit, the information is so conflicting, it can be so overwhelming, and literally all it does is end up confusing you. So in this video, I'm going to demystify the whole SEO audit tool problem, and I'll let you know exactly what tool I use myself at the agency, along with what tool I recommend you should use. So 3 of the biggest tools you've probably seen online when you've carried out any search for an SEO audit tool is probably Deep Crawl, you've probably seen Sitebulb, and the other one you've probably seen most common is going to be Screaming Frog. So Deep Crawl and Sitebulb, they're actually both paid tools. They do work very, very well, both of them. However, I don't actually find them to be any more effective or any more useful than Screaming Frog. And Screaming Frog is actually free to use. Screaming Frog is a tool we use ourselves at ClickSlice at the agency. I highly recommend Screaming Frog over any other SEO audit tool out there. Number one is because it's free and it literally does everything these other 2 tools do as well. As long as your website has less than 500 pages, which I assume a lot of people who are watching this video will actually have websites with less than 500 pages, you can use Screaming Frog for absolutely free. If you do have a website which is more than 500 pages, then you will unfortunately have to pay for the paid version, which I believe is £150 for an annual license, which is still really good value. So once you go over to Screaming Frog, which I'm going to link to as a link in the downloadable resources, what you want to do is go over to the SEO Spider tab right here. And if you scroll down, we can have a look at all the features of Screaming Frog. So you can see when you use this tool, you can easily find broken links. So these are any broken links you have on your website. You can analyze page titles and meta descriptions. You can even generate XML sitemaps. You can crawl any website. It's not just WordPress websites. So you can crawl JavaScript websites as well, Wix websites, Weebly, e-commerce stores. It doesn't really matter. You can crawl literally any website. You can find any redirects your website has, so that could be a 301 redirect. You can discover duplicate content. If you have the paid version of Screaming Frog, you can also integrate it with Google Analytics, Google Search Console, and Page Speed Insights. Now, these 3 things, they aren't really necessary whatsoever. It's kind of a little feature which is nice to have, but you don't need it at all to carry out an SEO audit. So again, it's not even an essential. And one thing which I really like about Screaming Frog, which they added not too long ago, is that they now allow you to see the website from a visual site architect perspective. If that doesn't make any sense right now, then don't worry, as I'm going to give you an example of what I mean by a visual site architect in the next video. So Screaming Frog is a tool that I recommend. So like I said, I will go ahead and add a link in the resources to this URL right here. And simply once you land on this URL, what you want to do is go ahead and download it. And yes, it works on all computers. It works on Windows, Macs, and Linux machines. So you shouldn't have any issues using it whatsoever. So go ahead and download Screaming Frog, and I'll see you in the next video where I'm going to give you a really brief overview of exactly all the information it gives you and exactly how it works. See you in the next one.